All right, Saints are going through some roster cuts. First wave is out, certainly not done at this point, and certainly very little that is really surprising to this point. There are a couple of note. Cam Akers, the running back who they brought in as a vet to compete, has been released. There's just not enough room in the end here for all these running backs. Kamara is the starter, clearly. Kendre Miller has established himself as the number 2 running back to this point. Kellen Moore kind of alluded to that today when he met with the media. But you still got a number of other players that are looking to find a roster spot. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a guy that's vested in the NFL, so would not have to clear waivers. They've got him still on the roster. Velus Jones, big speedster. They've got on the roster Devin Neal. They took a late round draft choice on, but really liked, but he missed a lot of camp due to injury. And you got Marcus Yarns, who I don't expect to be on the team, but Akers the only one to this point that we know of that's been released. That was of note because he's just a name. He was a big time recruit, great college player, and has been in the league most of his productivity time with the Rams. Look at punter, where you're going to have to make a decision, and the Saints are going to have a 4th punter in the last 4 years. They waived James Burnip today. That means that Kai Kroger right now is the leader to be the punter. He's the only one on the roster. Doesn't mean they can't add one tomorrow. If they bring one into the fold, we'll see. But Kai Kroger looks like he'll be the punter to this point. I'm continuing to go through this cut list. Jasheen Davis on the defensive line is a guy who had some flash in camp earlier. He's been waived. Kyle Hergel and Josiah Aziram on the offensive line. 2 guys. Aziram was a late 7th-round pick last year, and Hergel, a guy that you thought potentially could help him on the interior. But those guys have moved on. Landon Young, unfortunately, carted off the field. Nothing with him from a roster perspective, but carted off the field in Saturday's game. You hated to see that. You look at tight end, Michael Jacobson and Seth Green have been waived. That brings Trayton Welch one step closer to potentially holding a roster spot with the team. He's had a really good season. Had a great catch in the second preseason game on a deep ball that Tyler Shough threw. So we'll see if Welch can make the team right now while Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill are on the PUP list. That's kind of the newsworthy cuts. Certainly not all of them. There are plenty, and if you'd like to check that out as the day progresses, you can go to LouisianaSports.net and see our live tracker that is consistently updated with all the cuts that the Saints are going through today. Ross is staying up on that over at LouisianaSports.net. The biggest news today is the lack of news, and that revolves around the quarterback position. Kellen Moore met with the media today and said that the Saints have not made a decision. He said, quote, "It'll be soon, but they have not made a decision as of today with the starting quarterback." And I think the easy thing to do would be for me to get on here and go, they're just taking forever. What's the holdup? They've had an entire camp, 3 preseason games. Like, come on, make a call. You're just dragging your feet. And that would be an easy thing to do. I don't feel that way because, as I've said all along, like, I'm not in a rush. If the Saints want to look at a couple more practices, fine. Because I'm just not that concerned with who gets the most first-team reps at practice on Tuesday to make sure you're ready for the Week 1 opener a week from Sunday. Like, I'm not that concerned with it. My concern is evaluating things properly so that the right guy is getting reps. They're both getting some reps. They both played a significant amount in the preseason. Nobody's going to be grossly underprepared in the game against the Cardinals coming up next weekend. You look at what we saw on Saturday. Spencer Rattler started the game, 5 of 8, 43 yards, kind of piloted things along, took a sack, nothing completely glaring, and then Shough took over and got a little bit more run, 12 of 20, 102 yards. And here's what I would say about the Saints quarterbacks in the preseason. Like, I think a lot of us hoped that you would see somebody absolutely take that bull by the horns in preseason. I have a hard time going back to a lot of examples of like great preseasons because it's just that, and they're pretty rare, and you don't take a ton from them. A lot of times you're facing second and third team guys. But like Dak Prescott had a balling preseason. Do y'all remember that? Like, he came in as a rookie, late round pick, and like he was playing in the preseason. And it was pretty evident, like, oh, this is going to be a guy that they're going to like lean on. This wasn't like some flyer pick. Like, it may have been at the time, but it progressed to like, oh, like this is a starter. And you never saw that type of thing from neither Shough or Rattler. And that's disappointing to an extent. It's not damning. It's not a crisis. it's disappointing. And I think if we had that expectation back in July, we may have been ambitious. Like, I'm pointing to myself there. I may have been ambitious with the thought that, Rattler will come in and way outperform the rookie, or, here comes the second round pick. Here comes the guy that Kellen Moore and this administration decided this is our group. This is our guy. This is going to be the ticket. And it just didn't happen. A lot of checkdowns, couple mistakes, not a lot of big plays. I mean, the Saints didn't score a first-half touchdown in the preseason. And that's when, most of your perceived roster pieces are out on the field. It took in the second preseason game until the fourth quarter to get a touchdown right at the end of the game. And the same thing happened again in this preseason game. So I don't think it's unfair to call it underwhelming. I think it would be unfair to call it, a disaster. But I don't think the Saints are playing the cards close to the vest. They're watching a lot of the same stuff that the media has watched in camp, that we've watched in preseason. Everyone's kind of assessing the same thing, and it's just kind of similar. Like, both Shough and Rattler are pretty good athletes. They both got pretty good arms. They've both made some pretty good throws. They've both made some head-scratching mistakes, and they're right there together. Like, Jake Haener isn't really part of this deal, and he got to throw 9 passes on Saturday. But the guys you're really evaluating averaged 5 yards an attempt on Saturday. And the Broncos did play some of their first-team guys on defense early and then took those guys out, and you just didn't see a lot of oomph. I realize you're not playing a ton with the starters. Olave and Shaheed combined for 5 catches, and you're throwing to Jack Stoll and Marcus Yarns and Kevin Austin and Cedric Wilson and Dante Pettis, and that's not really the offense. And you'd like to get Trevor Penning back in there, and you'd like to get a lot of Eric McCoy, and we'll see what Foster Moreau can bring. And there's still some more to be added, and these guys are going to continue to get reps. I think you'll probably have a starter named by the end of the week. Kellen Moore said back over the weekend, this is not going to be one of those college football things where you find out who the quarterback is when they break the huddle. College coaches love that. That's not going to happen in the NFL. They're going to name their guy, and they'll likely, in my opinion, this is a guess, but it's a reasonable guess, they'll get the guy who will be the starter every first-team rep starting next Tuesday, next Wednesday. That's, generally speaking, how this thing will go. But I think the Saints are just taking their time. Now, if you want my opinion on this, I'll give it now. My opinion is start Rattler. I don't think it's going to go great. That's my opinion as well. I think that the Saints will struggle to score points. I think the Saints would struggle to score points with Tyler Shough in there. I think you go with the veteran. You continue to let Tyler Shough see what a Sunday's like in the league, see what it's like when all the bullets are actually flying, and it's not this preseason game where the 9th round draft pick. I realize there's only 7. That's the point of the hyperbole. The late round draft picks out there at safety who's about to get cut. I want the Pro Bowlers out there. Show me the real pass rushers. See what this really looks like when there's a mistake made. You got to come off the field and adjust to it. See what those in-game adjustments look like. See the entire process played out a couple of weeks. And if you've played 3 or 4 weeks and at that point you don't see much, okay, go with Shough. If Rattler's conducting the offense well, play him. But you don't have to be in a rush. You don't have to get off to a great start this year. It's not mandatory. This is not the Bengals who are trying to shake free from the 1-4s. This is a team who's in search of its future. And its future, no matter how badly we want it to come quickly, is not coming a week from Sunday. That's not going to be the future. Over the course of the year, you might see it. 4 quarters, week 1, no. So to me, I would go with Rattler. I would ease Shough in a little bit later and continue to evaluate things as they come. It's more fun for us if they make the decision early and you see a bunch of highlight plays in preseason. It's not necessarily the most realistic thing, and it didn't happen. So you got to keep evaluating. I don't think that Kellen Moore is showing his inexperience. I don't think that he's showing the job's too big for him. I'm not wildly concerned about things. I just think that you've got two middling players right now who are playing middling football that are on level footing, and you're just going to have to make a decision here in the next few days. And I think they'll go with Rattler. I would go with Rattler. Would it stun me if it was Shough? Stun's too stern a word. Mildly surprised? Sure. We'll see what they decide to do moving forward. The preseason is in the rearview mirror. Saints have 2 weeks to get ready for the first game. They'll have their roster and their practice squad here in the next few hours. And then you push off the dock and you go. So we'll see about the black and gold. If you're looking for Saints content, always invite you to head over to LouisianaSports.net. Ross Jackson does an awesome job covering the black and gold for us. He's got a lot of content up right now, including a cut tracker. And you can catch my stuff, Hunt on Saints, on YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.